Hey there, this is Matt. Welcome back to another review. This time it is of the 1990 film The Ambulance. And this is the Blu-ray DVD Steelbook from Germany. That very nice guy there sent me this. It looks beautiful. Nice set. Great cover. Film looks great on Blu-ray. Also have a DVD copy of it. And this is a film I remember first seeing on VHS. It's a Larry Cohen film who did Cue the Winged Serpent, which I enjoy. The Stuff, another film I enjoy. The It's Alive films. The God Told Me To. He also wrote Phone Booth and Cellular, among other flicks. Very, very talented writer and director. Has a unique voice for his characters. A lot of his films have a very interesting sense of humor, as this does as well. And I'd probably say this is my personal favorite Larry Cohen film because it's the one that no one talks about, and to me it's the most underrated one. At least Cue the Winged Serpent, The Stuff, get a little bit praise. This one doesn't really, but it deserves it. Obviously someone must agree with me because of this nice presentation of the flick. Now, the story, you have Eric Roberts as the lead, which I thought was a nice touch because a lot of times he gets put in as a bad guy, a villain, but he's a great actor. It's nice to see him as the lead hero of the film. And a fun bit is that he's actually, his character works for Marvel Comics. And you have an appearance by Stan Lee. So I'm like, wow, he's an illustrator for Marvel Comics. That's kind of a nice little touch there. One day he's on the sidewalk, meets with Janine Turner from Cliffhanger, and strikes a conversation with her, but then she collapses, goes to a hospital. He tries to follow her, goes to all the hospitals, can't find her. Then thinks maybe something's wrong, goes to the cops. You have James Earl Jones, who's this high-strung cop who keeps chewing gum and seems like very angry all the time. Throughout the film, you have this, again, fun sense of humor. But you also have some really well done stunts because you find out that the bad guy, who was actually, I think he was on The Young and the Restless. He's like one of those soap opera guys with a mustache. I'm like, I recognize that guy. I didn't watch the soap opera, but you know, when you're clicking through and they have commercials, he's a face I would see pop up a lot. He says a line like, because I think he wants to cure diabetes. It's like, you'll be in perfect health before you die. And throughout the film, it's Eric Roberts trying to search for this girl. Some people he meets along the way to help out. One is a guy who becomes a roommate at one point when he's in this hospital. A guy named Red Buttons, who is a former newspaper reporter, older guy. There's also this female cop that he becomes friendly with and tries to help Eric Roberts out. And amongst the unique humor, you also get some really good stunts. And the stunt coordinator is actually Spiro Rosatos. This is a guy who worked on stunts for the Maniac Cop films, especially Maniac Cop 2. He later did the Fast and Furious films and the Captain America films. He done some big stuff, big movies dealing with stunts and their coordination. So there's some really good sequences. You know, people almost, you know, jumping out of the way and the ambulance drives through walls. There's a stunt sequence where Eric Roberts was tied up to a stretcher and he kicks the doors of the ambulance out and he rides down this hill almost being hit by cars. There's the ambulance driving through this nightclub. There's a moment where Eric Roberts gets upon this sort of wall and says, "Come on, hit me, you son of a bitch, I'm right here." And it drives through and it flies through it, and Eric Roberts' character falls back and barely just grabs his chain link fence before, and if he doesn't, he'll fall to his death. Just get some really good stunt sequences, action bits. And that comes together for a very... I don't even know if this film went into theaters. Maybe it was just a direct-to-video film. But it's definitely a flick that I think if more people saw it, they'd be more surprised by how good it really is. Now, on the commentary, there was some nice bits. For example, the guy who plays the villain, the soap opera guy, he was cast later. They actually filmed it with another actor. It's a name I didn't recognize, but that he put it together. It didn't really work. So that guy, the soap opera guy, he did all his stuff in one day. And then Larry Cohen plugged him into the film, which, that was impressive. Also, apparently, John Travolta was up for the lead role. But I think actually the studio did not want John Travolta, because at that time he was making a lot of flops. I think there was one called Shout, and there was the one he did with Jamie Lee Curtis about the fitness, and they said, no, we don't want John Travolta. Eric Roberts, that's fine. So, yeah, you could have had John Travolta. But I'm glad, because Eric Roberts worked very well in the flick. I think John Travolta would have worked fine as well. I like John Travolta, but I'm glad, because Eric Roberts, like I said, doesn't really get too many movies to shine as the lead hero. Very rarely does he get to do that. Now, the music, a little bit interesting as well, done by Jay Chataway. Jay Chataway worked on music for the Maniac Cop films, among others. I think also Maniac for William Lustig. He does a pretty decent job on the score. I liked the score. Some people don't. They find it a bit too weird. But I thought it fit with the rest of the weirdness of the flick. And getting more spoiler territory, so I'm going to start now with the spoilers. James Earl Jones, his character, like I say, he's always chewing gum. There's even later on where he gets hit by the ambulance and he's dying. Like, he gets hit first, he's still chewing his gum, he gets backfires, gets hit again, and he dies. And the only way you know he dies is when he stops chewing his gum. Apparently Larry Cohen on the commentary said he met James Earl Jones later in life, and the first thing James Earl Jones says is, "Do you have a pack of gum?" So apparently James Earl Jones remembers this movie. His character was a lot of fun. I mean, he's not in as much of the film. I would like to have seen him more, because he's a very interesting character, but when he's there, it makes it work. When he's talking to the female cop, he's like, when I have a cavity, I know it. Before you do, you do. Get the hell out of my office. And then when she does, he just smiles. It's like, this guy's crazy. Then you find out he was a little bit crazy. Like, he almost tried to kill himself at one point. So the idea just, they do some... A lot of characters in Larry Cohen films are very interesting, offbeat characters. Eric Roberts, I know some people make fun of his performance, but he's supposed to be playing a stressed out guy. I thought he worked very, very well. At one point, he thinks his milk was doused, says, "Oh, they don't kill me, they don't take me away." And then he wakes up, he's in a real hospital. You're a real nurse. Real cop. I made a mistake, right? Right. Always talking red buttons, and he doesn't believe him. Eric Roberts says, "Okay, fine. I'm lying. Fuck you. Get off my bed." And even like little roles that mean nothing. Like this, when Eric Roberts and Red Buttons are in two beds in a hospital, and just this orderly comes in, And like it seems like a New York guy's like, you guys keep me up. I'm gonna put your fucking head to sleep. I'm gonna put no. He's like, I'm gonna put a pillow over your fucking head. I'm gonna put a pillow on your fucking head. There's one moment where he's looking for info, and he calls the female cop, and then he gets out of the phone booth, and then there's a bunch of guys there. He's like, oh wow, what a shitty time to get mud. And he gets beaten up, and then these ambulance guys come out, and then they beat up the thugs. So it shows that these guys mean business. And Eric Roberts trying to rile the thugs up. Come on, don't be a pussy. Beat these guys up. Come on, what are you doing? Are you shitting me? Oh, you guys are just pussies. Even the fact that in the third act, the ambulance, you find out, is part of this dance hall that the female cop finds, and she's trying to get people up, and she's like, I need help. And no one's listening. And then she pulls out her gun. I am not bullshitting you. And then fires twice in the air, and then that gets people's attention. You get some narrow escapes. And again, some nice twists. Like at the end when they find Janine Turner, and you think, oh well, she's gonna fall in love with Eric Roberts. No, you found Janine Turner has a boyfriend, and she tells Eric Roberts, "Could you tell my boyfriend that I'm here?" And Eric Roberts like, "Okay, he's being nice." But then in a real reaction when he leaves, he's a teeny bit pissed. Is like yelling for the guy, and he turns to the female cop and is like, I mean, fuck him. I forget what the boyfriend's name was. But then, after that, you have a satisfying finale. He fucks up the bad guy. That both him and the female cop are in the ambulance, a good ambulance this time, and they can't even kiss, but you think they're gonna get together and then go off into the sunset or into the night. Sorry, my allergies are kicking my ass, so sorry this review isn't as good as it could be. But yeah, the ambulance, it's a film. Well, before that, the Blu-ray itself, I think it's a good looking Blu-ray. I mean, this is the Blu-ray copy here, and then you have a DVD copy, and you have an extras disc. Although, I guess the only reason it's on a separate disc is because it's just a sit down interview with Larry Cohen for about 70 minutes. And I will say, I mean, it was okay to listen, but it was, I don't know, I wish they would have gone more in depth on the movies. I mean, it's more about his upbringing, and then a little bit on the release of It's Alive, and how It's Alive was released. A little bit about making some of his blaxploitation movies. He tells a little bit about the stuff and what it was about. He tells a bit about a film that he was going to do called I, the Jury, but then he either quit or got fired and then went to another movie. That tells about the climate of today. But I don't know, I guess for a 70-minute sit-down interview, I would have preferred more in-depth discussion on each of his films. I would have liked to hear some discussion about the films he wrote, like Phone Booth and Cellular. Hell, there's this poster in the background, they don't even talk about this film. So, that's what I mean, I blame the guy doing the interview. I don't blame Larry Cohen. The guy doing the interview seems a bit clueless. I don't know, maybe that's mean for me to say. I don't know, he just seemed clueless to me, so. So yeah, I think it was a letdown, the extras disc. But there is a Larry Cohen commentary, and you get the info I told you about I got from that commentary. And he seems proud of the film. Also, you have this little booklet, which granted it's in German, so I can't read it, but you have at least a couple pictures. This here, when these guys try to take him away to the hospital, and he's like, no, these guys are going to kill me, don't let them take me. This is the guy he meets at the hospital. Not an evil hospital, but a normal hospital. A former newspaper reporter tries to help him. Red buttons. That's him there. And a shot of Eric Roberts in the movie. This is the female cop. I thought she did a good job in the film. She was likable. And then it's in red, but there's a little bit of James Earl Jones. And I thought the film looked good on Blu-ray. Sadly, in the US, you can only get this on DVD and a Warner Archive type of thing. I don't know if it's Warner or MGM. It's like one of those archives. It's pretty much DVD-R on demand. You order it, we put it on a DVD-R, and we'll send it to you with a case. And I much prefer this. It's an official release. You need a region-free Blu-ray player. Or I guess, if you want the DVD, a region-free DVD player. So it's sad this doesn't have a release in the US because it deserves more notice. And again, that's a really cool cover. I like that. Especially like that hand going through the windshield. And I think when I first heard about this film, I thought it'd be more like Christine. But it's more about these guys trying to kidnap people and implant things into them and then try to cure them. And if it doesn't work, oh well, you're dead. If it does work, we'll kill you off so you can't tell anybody what we're doing. Illegal experimentation on people. But yeah, it's well done stunts, great cast. I think Eric Roberts does a really good job. James Earl Jones, Megan Gallagher, Janine Turner, Red Buttons. I think Eric Braeden, he's the soap opera guy, I believe. Like Megan Gallagher, she was the female cop. I really don't have any problems with the film. It goes at a fast pace, about 90 minutes long, give or take. It's a unique sense of humor, good stunt sequences. Again, Larry Cohen film no one really talked about, but I think deserves a lot more notice. But yeah, that's the ambulance. Really glad I have this because I didn't want to buy that DVD. Because it's like a DVD-R. I'm like, you could just make a DVD-R in your home, but then it's like I like an official release, and this is the closest you're going to get. I don't. Anyway, there's a lot. You look at some of these Blu-rays coming out, and I'm thinking there's a lot better movies that deserve it like this. Not fucking the Psycho remake, Scream Factory. I mean, Scream Factory, why are you doing the Psycho remake and fucking Virus with Jamie Lee Curtis? But overseas, you can get stuff like this. Just saying. But anyway, that's my thoughts on The Ambulance, an underrated film by Larry Cohen. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.